Hello, Caesar. Hello, Piggy. What you doing there? I'm having a bath, Caesar. Hey, say, could you grab that sponge for me? Sure, Piggy. What do you want me to do? Bring it over here and scrub me clean. Oh, okay. Piggy, this sponge keeps getting smaller every time I scrub it. That's the way it's supposed to work. Hello and welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today we're on Binance Smart Chain taking a look at a very special, strange, crazy token called Sponge, SPG. Now we're going to take a look at the whole protocol actually, not just this specific token, but it starts all with this specific token. They call it a new high return frictionless token or passive yield token that absorbs tokens from other transactions. So what is this talking about? Now, I'll put links to all these Medium articles and stuff in all the things I talk about in the description below, so you can come and visit and read this in entirety. But I'm going to skip down to this point here. So max supply 100K. So there's only 100K of these sponge tokens. Okay, and they say it's going to decrease over time. So you'll see why. So down. So here it talks a little bit about like how to get the token, right? And here's the important part here. 6.66% taxes on each transaction. So every time you send this token to another wallet address, every time you use it, it taxes you 6.66%. So it just takes those tokens away as it's being transacted. And then 5% of them goes proportionally to every other token holder. So they take it from you and they give it to everyone else, okay? Now I assume it would also give it to you if you kept some of your tokens as well, right? So now 5% goes to everybody who has these SPG tokens in their wallet, or every wallet that has them in them. So that includes, if they're inside LP tokens or if they're inside a vault or something like that. And then down here, 0.016% is burnt forever. So those tokens are just reduced and taken out of circulation. So that's how this 1K is going to get smaller and smaller. And then the last 1.5 go to the dev and the partner wallets. Now a partner wallet's probably some, friends of the devs or some sort of investors or something like that. I wasn't able to find out exactly who these partner wallets are, but it's a small portion, I guess. Maybe not. Anyhow, so you're going to get 5% of other people's transactions, which is pretty good. Now, not 5%, you get your proportional share of it, right? So let's swing over to the main website for this token. Okay, so here we are on Sponge Finance. Again, link in the description. It kind of looks a lot like PancakeSwap, right? And they did fork. They forked the main idea of PancakeSwap, but it's not really competition for PancakeSwap because they don't have a whole bunch of liquidity pools. They're not trying, I don't think they're trying to make a new PancakeSwap. They're just kind of using the backbone of PancakeSwap in order to build out their idea. Okay, and it's pretty good. So before I go into what is this soak here, this other token, soak stats and stuff like this, which is very important, I'd like to talk a little bit about some options, how to get the sponge. Well, now, of course, you can buy it. And there were some, here they talked about the tenant farm. There were some farms here before, but those are pretty much done now. And the only place that's really left is, where is it? Here. You can go to the Thugs, right? Thugs Finance, the trap house, right? Link in the description, and you connect your wallet as usual. And then you will go to staked hose up at the top here, and you'd have to have some drugs. And if you had some drugs, you would turn them into hose, and then you would use the hose by turning drugs into hose. Then you also gain some more drugs every little while. This is a different protocol, so don't worry too much about this. But if you did have some drugs or you do have some hose, you can stake the hose in here and gain some sponge, okay? Which I'm doing with my drugs, okay? So back to the protocol. So the main idea is sponge token. Every time someone transacts with the sponge token, if you're a holder of sponge tokens, you get 5% of it. Well, you get your share of the 5%. Okay, that's taxed. Okay, but now there's another token down here that's called soak. Now, what does the soak token do? Okay, the soak token is interesting. Well, let's go over to the soak Medium article here and go. So again, read through this all if you want. So every 2% of every transactions of the SOAK token. Okay, whenever the SOAK token is traded, then 2% of those will be sent to the SOAK contract. And that's pretty much this thing right here. Okay, so those 2% are basically stuck in there. Now let's go down, 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 down. And every once in a while, you can click the button, this button here, okay? And you can click it and soak the sponge event. So initiate the event. Now it's going to cost you some gas to do that. So they're going to pay you 0.1% of the SOAK's tokens that were accumulated into this SOAK contract. And then the rest of those SOAK tokens are going to be used to convert it to BNB. So they're going to sell the SOAK tokens and buy BNB. And then 66% of those, of this BNB will use to buy sponge tokens. So they're going to raise the price of sponge token. Now remember, when they buy the sponge token, then it's also going to be taxed, right? So they're going to buy the sponge token. It's going to raise the price. And it's also going to deflate it and give you everybody a little bit of rewards from the taxation. And then they're going to use, the sponge token that they got and the rest of the BNB to create a liquidity pool that's pretty much just locked forever. So it's just forever liquidity between sponge and BNB tokens, because the LP token is going to be given to the contract and no one's got control over that. Okay, so let's go back to the protocol here. And so here's the sponge token event. So if you wanted to click this, you would need to wait for there to be 200 SOAK ready, right? And you need to have at least 10 sponge tokens in here. So, you'd have to have some invested interest, so to speak, in clicking this here. So last little article here. They do have something new coming out. Now they haven't, they're kind of fun protocol. They like to make jokes. They like to, they're very memey if you look at their articles, their Medium articles. And this kind of gives it like a teaser of what's coming. It doesn't really explain exactly what's coming, but they do talk about a community launchpad platform. So some sort of like, you have a new idea, you have a new protocol, you have some new tokens, and then you can, stick them in this protocol here, and you can, help us to create liquidity for your token or some incentivized pools. People can farm your token on this platform. And then there's something very strange here. It says adding a true new case to the sponge finance by farming true tokens like BTC, so Bitcoin, BNB, ETH. Now it doesn't tell you quite yet what this is going to be. So I'm going to be watching closely to see what this is and see what happens, right? Like they're going to have some sort of farm where you can farm these tokens. Now, this kind of gives me a hint that somehow it's going to be a partnership maybe with Venus. I'm not sure because, this is the Venus token and these are all like Venus supplied, common tokens supplied on Venus. So it might be Venus, but I'm just guessing there, okay? Now, the only thing I don't really like about this is everything is done here. Okay, you have to buy the tokens here because there's no liquidity for these tokens on PancakeSwap. So there might be liquidity in the future on PancakeSwap, but right now it's all pretty much here. If you want to build the LPs, you need to pretty much buy it here and build it here, and then stake it here to farm. Right now, you can also put these LP tokens into places like Beefy Finance to get some nice yield and to build up your LP tokens that way. But you can also stick them into the farms here. As you can see, you can set up a SOAK BNB, a sponge BNB, and you can earn some SOAK tokens, right? Anyhow, so you get the idea, right? So this is the only thing I don't really like is it's all in one protocol here. So you're kind of depending on this all at once, which is a little bit risky. If they decide, if it were to be a rug pull, they just shut down this website, you'd pretty much, it's going to be really hard to get your stuff out. Okay, you'd have to definitely go through Etherscan, and you'd have to go through multiple steps. Whereas if you were to build LP tokens on PancakeSwap, then you just need to pull out your LP tokens from the protocol that you're risking at, right? So that's the only thing I'm worried about a little bit, but use a small amount, right? Don't go all in on something like this. But the LPs are quite good, the APYs are quite good. Let's take a look at Beefy Finance and see what the APYs are there. Okay, so here we are back on Beefy Finance, and let's take a look down. I do have a little bit, you see, and it's currently 7% a day for the Soak BNB, and the Sponge BNB is about 3% a day. That's crazy high, right? So they are farming the Soak tokens and selling the Soak tokens to, increase these different LP tokens, and then you can take them back to Sponge later to cash them out if you want. Okay, so that pretty much covers it. Stick around to find out what this new token is and how it's going to work and what kind of deal it's going to have. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.